Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to look at a local company that is shaking up an entire industry. They're offering up to 80% off on prescriptions. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, it seems like every time you go to your pharmacist to get your prescription refilled, you get sticker shock. It keeps going up and up and up. It's a big problem, especially for those people living paycheck to paycheck. But there's a company that just started up that is shaking up the entire industry. Dr. Corey Hébert with CareRX Inform is in studio. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. You couldn't have said it better.
Well, I'm blown away by your concept. So up to 80% off on prescriptions?
Yeah, so people are fighting the good fight now. I mean, it has been a really difficult time since we've had this big pandemic, and now we've got, all different monkeypox, Marburg viruses everywhere. But with all these things coming about, you're going to have medicine. Always you have to have medicine, and you need to have some mental health care too. And if you think you're okay, you're probably not, because you have all these things going on, right? But what we decided to do is say, look, if we are having all this that we have to go through every day, we need to come up with a concept where it makes you feel good. We want you to feel good. We want you to be able to get your medicines much cheaper, but we also want to give you a positive message and an uplifting message, because there are other places that do discount prescriptions, but ours is going to be different because we put it together so that you're going to get up to 80%. Every time you go, you're going to see that number decrease as far as the amount of money that you're having to pay for that prescription. That's number one. But you're also going to get a good message behind it, something that's going to uplift you, because times are tough out there all over. We need those positive messages.
So people hear this and they say up to 80%. There has to be a catch. How do you guys make the math work?
Well, it's relationships. It's relationships. I mean, we have to have relationships with the pharmacies and the folks that make the medicine so that we can get discount pricing. I mean, when you buy anything and you buy it in bulk, you get to pay less. So we look at buying things in bulk so that we can decrease the amount of money that the consumer has to pay front-facing at the pharmacy. It's a pretty simple concept, but you have to really want to do it to push it through so that it can be something that is very, very successful. And when we say successful, we don't mean successful for us. We mean successful for you, because what you need to have is that feeling when you go to the pharmacy, like, I want to get my medicine, but I'm scared what the pharmacist is going to tell me. Because when you go there, sometimes you have to choose between food or your medicine, right, or insulin, taking it every day, or every other day. These types of things, that's not the way America should be. It's not the way America should be. And what we're trying to do is to eliminate that across the board so that you can feel comfortable taking the medicine and getting the medicine that you need.
And I'm sure that you've run across countless people who have made that unfortunate decision that I know it's going to cost me too much, so I'll have to choose which prescriptions I refill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a practicing physician, and I've been practicing medicine for a quarter of a century. That sounds a lot longer than I feel like
You're looking like a young man here. I don't know how that works.
But it's been a long time, and I've worked, I'm ER as well, so I've worked in places where I know I'm going to have to give a person a medicine that they've never ever had to get before, because I'm in the ER and I've just diagnosed them with something that's going to be life-changing for them. And I know 50% of the time they're not going to be able to get it and end up right back in the ER with that same ailment. And that's just, it's horrifying to me. But I also take care of patients in a primary care setting, and I see people with chronic illnesses that are constantly coming back saying, I can't afford it. And already, being a doctor is a hard thing, because if somebody comes to you, they already don't want to tell you everything, right? And then you got to figure out what they got. And then once you figure out what they have, then you have to convince them to do something that's great for their bodies, then convince them to go to a pharmacy and spend money so that they can feel better. That's a hard thing to do. But if I go through all of that and get them to do it, then they get to the pharmacy, and then they can't afford the medicine, then they're just sliding right back to where they were. And that's just not good for our society, you know.
And you're taking care of not just people, but you're taking care of pets.
Exactly. Now that's something that makes us very, very, very unique, because when, you know, people love their animals. They love their animals. I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of my family loves their animals more than they love other members of our family, let's be honest. And so, because that animal is always happy. That animal's always going to be there for you. So that animals, even though they have certain things, these service animals, the emotional support animals, all of our animals are emotional support animals when you're not feeling good, right? So if your animal's not feeling good, and then you have to take them to the vet, that's a lot of money, then you have to make sure that they get the medicine that they need too. So now you can't afford the medicine you're taking, you're upset, your dog now is the thing that makes you feel good, you can't afford the medicine for your dog, so that's double whammy. So now with CareRX Inform, you are able to be able to get this same type of discount for your animals. And that's a really, really important thing.
Wow. You addressed animals make us feel good. We're going through a mental health epidemic, as you know, through COVID, just economy, rumors of a recession. Mental health is a big deal. How do you guys address that?
Yeah, well, what we are trying to do, it makes us a little bit different as well, is that we're trying to put the power back into the patient's hand. Okay, now a lot of people out there may not know this, and some doctors don't want you to know this, but doctors, we're very busy. So to stay up on the latest medicines, so that we can make sure we prescribe them appropriately, I have to read 5, 6, 7 journals a month, right? So think about this. If I'm working 18 hours a day, I want to spend some time with my family, I don't have time to read all that. So if you're a patient out there and you come to me and you say, Doc, I heard about this new medicine, I'd like you to prescribe it for me. What if I don't know about it yet? People think that doctors are constantly learning about this stuff, but actually, you know, we have to take some time and do some continuing medical education, which we have to do, but all the latest stuff sometimes we're not up to date on. So we're trying to put the power back into the patient's hands, because what happens is you go home, if that doctor doesn't know about that medicine, you go home and then you're like, the doctor didn't prescribe it because he or she didn't know about it. At CareRX Inform, you can go to our website, click Contact Us, and we have a doctor there for you that is up on all that information. So when you talk about mental health, let's just say you have depression. You can't wait for your doctor to find out about the latest depression medicine. You go to our doctors, click on that, telehealth. Yes. Telehealth. And when you see that, you'll see our doctor, and that doctor will say, yes, we know about that depression medicine. We'll be able to get that taken care of for you and get that shipped to your house. And that's what we have to do. The power needs to be back in the patient's hands, because after COVID, we realize now that the medicine front face of medicine, that interface, we have a lot of problems that we have to deal with now with that. And it hasn't ever been a perfect science. But now it's really an imperfect science. And what COVID taught us is that we can do this from the comfort of our car. I mean, I had patients that I was doing telehealth for my patients. They'd make an appointment for 9 o'clock. The phone would come up. I'd see them on the phone. They'd be sitting in their car. I'd see them do the whole visit. And they'd go home. I could do it from anywhere. That's what it taught us, that we can do this, and we are going to do it in the best way, because now once we give you that particular medicine for your mental health issue or whatever issue, then you will be able to get the medicine at the appropriate discount, which is all encompassing at that point.
Absolutely, and I love it that you're disruptive, because it seems like every industry is now facing disruptors. You know, at one point we couldn't imagine a world without taxi cabs, and then along comes Uber.
That's right.
Are you doing the same thing to your industry?
Yes, we are, and you know, and not to be disrespectful to the industry. You know, the pharmaceutical industry does a lot of good stuff, and you know, people think that they're just villains. Not all of them are villains. I mean, you have to put in the research and development behind a medicine. It's billions and billions of dollars to do that, and you got to make your money back. But what we're trying to do is just make that gap smaller. And so you're always going to disrupt something when you decrease the profits of the other people in that particular industry. And we're coming in as disruptors, but we're trying to do this so that the customer gets what they need, and that's what's most important. I mean, I took an oath to do no harm. So I will not do harm to people, and more than that, I will help. And we will do whatever it takes to help the folks that need it the most, because that's what COVID showed us. There are a lot of people out there that have a lot of problems, and they need to be addressed, whether it will be their mental health, whether it would be therapy they need, whether it be their pet having problems, or whether they need a medicine. I mean, you know, I'm a doctor. I'm not the biggest fan of medicine. I just want people to feel great. And sometimes it means taking a break. Sometimes it means taking a deep breath. Sometimes it means getting mental health care. Sometimes it means taking a pill. And sometimes you got to do that.
All right, we're almost out of time. Final thoughts.
What I will tell you is, first of all, I just want to thank you for having us on, because this is something that is very near and dear to all of our hearts. But what I want you to know is this: we are the people that you can trust, the reliability of what we can do to get your medicines at a cheaper price. All I want you to do, there's no cost to you. There's no cost to you. What I want you to do is get that card, go to your pharmacy. I don't care what medicine it is. Go to your pharmacy, get that card, give it to your pharmacist, and watch. I want you to record yourself. Because when they tell you that amount of money that you're going to have to pay, you're going to tape that, and you're going to laugh and smile and say, Dr. Hébert was right, and I want you to send that to us so we can use it as a testimony.
Oh my goodness, you've been a great guest. We're going to end with the website, which is CareRxInform.com. Dr. Hébert, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.